What's up, legends? Benchmark Bets is back, and we're locked in with 2 NFL picks. But that's not all. I'm going to take you through some leans that I like in the Seahawks versus the Rams matchup. So buckle up, I've done the homework. Let's hit these and stack these wins. So before we dive into the picks, let's do a quick recap on Monday Night Football. We went 1-1 with Aaron Rodgers over 20.5 pass completions, cashing that early in the fourth quarter. He finished with 27 completions, so that was an easy cash. Unfortunately, we missed on Devon A-Chain over 79.5 rushing yards. Looked good at halftime, but once the Dolphins fell behind, the game script flipped and they couldn't stick to the run. Still wasn't a bad read at all. They just couldn't keep up with the Steelers. Overall, leans have been hitting very well, so we're going to keep those rolling for you. So, with the first pick, I'm looking at Kyren Williams over 55.5 rushing yards, and here is why. So, on paper, this does look like a bad matchup. However, I feel like this line is a bit too low. Williams is over this in 11 out of the last 14 games, averaging 73.6 rushing yards. Also, the Seahawks play zone defense at the 6th highest rate, and Williams averages 5.26 yards per carry. Also, recent RBs have been smashing their lines, with Taylor for 87, Robinson for 86, and Mason for 47. So, also I forgot to mention, Williams, when he versed the Seahawks last, had 91 rushing yards from only 12 attempts. So, I can see a similar output in today's game. So, Kyren Williams over 55.5 rushing yards is play number 1. And for the second pick, I'm looking at Jackson, Smith, and Jigba over 6.5 receptions, and here is why. So, the Rams allow the 7th most receptions and the 10th most receptions to wide receivers. JSN has hit this in 10 out of the last 14 games, averaging 6.9 receptions per game. He's been incredibly consistent, arguably the best wide receiver this year. And also, recent wide receivers have gone over the line in 8 out of the last 15 games with a 9% average difference. So everything points to JSN for another strong game here. So that's it for the picks, but now let's look through some leans. So let's start with the quarterbacks. So the first guy I'm looking at is Matthew Stafford over 33.5 pass attempts. So the Seahawks give up the 6th most pass attempts to opposing quarterbacks. Recent QBs have gone over their line in 8 out of the last 11 games with a 13% average difference. The only thing I see being something negative here for him is the pressure rate. However, I can see Stafford throwing the ball pretty quickly, so attempts is good, completions is bad. That's why I've gone with attempts. So for the next pick, still sticking with the quarterbacks, I'm going with Sam Darnold over 19.5 pass completions. So this one ties with the JSN play. So if JSN does good, Darnold should definitely see these completions. The Rams allow the 5th most completions to QBs and also the 7th most to his position, which doesn't make sense. Yeah, anyway, that's a bit of an error from Prop Madness, but anyway. Recent QBs have gone over their line in 8 out of the last 12 games with a 2% average difference. So I'm expecting a pass-heavy script here from the Seahawks because I think the rush is going to be stopped by the Rams. So let's look at the receivers. So with the first lean I'm looking at is Colby Parkinson over 39.5 receiving yards. With Nakua likely to draw heavy coverage, I expect Parkinson to be a lot more involved. The Seahawks give up the 3rd most receiving yards to opposing tight ends. Also, recent tight ends have gone over their line in 11 out of the last 15 games with a 60% average difference. Look at all these guys who have recently hit as well. Not just going over, but smashing their prop line. So I can see Parkinson going over today. Also, the Seahawks run zone defense at the 6th highest rate, and he averages 2.01 yards per route run. So let's stick with the receivers, and I'm going with Cooper Kupp over 3.5 receptions. The Rams give up the most receptions to slot receivers, and Cooper Kupp runs 57% of his runs in the slot position. If he can get at least 6 or 7 targets today, I'm confident he can pull in 4. That's all we need. And also, this is a plus money play, so definitely something I will be looking at closer to the game. So that's pretty much it for today's picks. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Also, if you made it this far into the video, really helps the channel grow and helps with YouTube's algorithm. So I say thank you so much for that. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Good luck with your bets. Stay safe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Laters.